the harder the work you put in, the sweeter the wins are. Hello, I'm your host, Les Bubka. Welcome to Anxious Black Belt, a podcast that focuses on karate, mental health, and everything in between. If you enjoy our content and would like to support us, best way to do that is to listen to another episode, share it with your friends, and leave us a review. All this stuff helps the mysterious algorithm to introduce our podcast to new audience. Thank you for joining me, and let's listen to the episode. Recently, I had a chat with people who sadly dropped out from our dojo and the reasons behind it and how the mental health impacts your outlook on your progression and so on. So, I'm going to share a few thoughts on this today. And Friday, we're going to have a lovely interview with Sensei Steve Law from Koryu Kyudokan about old ways. So, I really encourage you to listen to that this Friday. But students who left have been feeling that they not progressing fast enough. They felt like watching the people who are more advanced is putting them down, then don't really feel it. They focusing on the stuff that they cannot do instead of on things they can do. And this is a very often reason for people to drop out. And I think most of us who done martial arts for longer time been in that position where you don't feel you progressing fast enough. You look around and it seems that everybody is a little bit better than you. They progressing and you are not. And there is several reasons for that. And one of them is um, training all the time with the same group of people. Everybody's turning up. You are a close community. You're training all the time, maybe 5 times a week, 4 times a week, 2 times a week, doesn't really matter. But if you are in the same group, it's very difficult to see your progression because you both all going on the journey, and the growth is kind of equal. Obviously, some people are going to be jumping out and some people are going to be going a bit slower, but in general, whole group is progressing. So it's very difficult to see yourself and assess it truly or honestly. Uh, in that case, it's nice to go out to the different groups and then you can see that progression and your development. That happens in our group a lot because we kind of have only our group and only people coming to our dojos. That's why I like to encourage people going to seminars and competition and stuff like that to check your level and positioning. But the mindset is equally important because the way you look at other people gives you a feedback and feel of the art you're doing. So, for example, if I looked at people doing martial arts and the black belts doing spinning, jumping kicks, throws, groundwork, and I think to myself, wow, they are so amazing, and I'm so bad. I can't do anything. I won't be able to do it. I've tried for months and I cannot do it, and nothing is progressing. I still cannot do the jumping kicks, and when people don't letting me do stuff, I'm stuck with the white belt and I'm doing this very boring stuff. You're gonna be putting yourself down, and if you've got the issues with mental health, this is the kind of a outlook people almost often have because they've been putting themselves down for so long. And I'm a good example of that. During when I started martial arts, I was putting myself down all the time because I've done that in every other area of life. So you're not good enough, you're never gonna be good enough, and this is not gonna work, this is not for you, best to quit, go away, never return. But this is kind of a lying to yourself because every martial artist been in that position where we started, and there's no shortcuts, unfortunately, in martial arts. You can get the belt very easy, but the skills come really hard. You have to put the effort in, put the work in, and unfortunately, there's no shortcuts. You have to really, really earn it. And if you look at this, then like that, putting yourself all the time down, it is gonna be worse and worse because you're focusing on all that negative aspects of your art, and you cannot get out from that cycle. So every time you something doesn't work, you get the bad association with that activity, and less you are motivated to do it. You're gonna be trying to get out of it. It becomes a chore, and oh, I have to go for that class. Oh, I don't like it. I'm never gonna be good at them. So you're putting yourself down. So I know it's easier to say than done, but you need to break that cycle and start looking at it that look, this guy is training 15, 20 years, he's doing those kicks, he's doing those throws, he's doing that groundwork effortlessly, but it took him that 15 years. So I give myself a huge amount of time to achieve that. And to be honest, it doesn't really matter if I'm gonna be as good as him. I just want to progress. And you look at yourself, and then you can start seeing with the time a little progressions. Oh, I can do that shrimping better. Oh, I can do that break fall a little bit better. Oh, that Tsuki lands nicely. I can do that on pads now instead of in the air. Oh, I can now put that in a sparring. So you're looking for those positive affirmation of your journey. So be mindful of what positive things happening, because every session you might not see it, but your coach, your friends, your fellow martial artists see your progression. So don't listen so much to yourself, but listen to what people say, because most often people tell you, oh, that was a good sparring. But then you think to yourself, oh no, that was a shit sparring. I didn't really do that. And I used to suffer with that as well. I'd always been not happy with my sparring. I've always been not happy with what I do. And, age 44, I joined in BJJ, where I'm on the bottom of the pile. I'm a white belt, and people tap me out all the time. I can't do nothing, and because I am only able to work with them once a week, I can see how much the other guys making progression. A couple of us started together in the same time, pretty much on the same training, 5 months in, and I can see how much they left me behind. But that's the reality. I am doing only once a week; they doing 4 times a week. So this is what's happening. But I stopped looking with very jealousy towards them. I am enjoying my rolling, and I started to listen to people, because often happens I managed to tap out somebody, or I managed to escape from something, and people say, "Hey, that was good stuff. That was a good roll. You getting better." So instead of listening to myself how bad was, because human tendency is to focus on the bad things, that things that didn't work. So through all the sparrings, I could pick the stuff that didn't work out, but I'm choosing deliberately to shut down that voice and listen to what other people saying, because they see me from the outside and they've got different judgment of me. And the more often I'm getting a positive feedback. It's always like, oh, this was a great role. You're doing better. This was nice move. That was nice escape. This was nice block. You defended this correctly. And the same I see with my students in martial arts, in karate, when we're doing some sparring, and somebody says, "Oh, this was bad," but hey, have a look on how you managed to keep your distance away to not be takedown. You didn't see that coming. Oh, I never seen that. I thought it was bad. You got him here with nice combination, left, right, and the kick. Oh, I didn't notice that. I've seen that I missed 3 kicks. So that kind of outlook and your view of yourself is skewed. You're not really honest with yourself, because we are negative dominant creatures, and we like to pick ourselves apart and kind of put ourselves down, and it is the true in that we are our worst enemy. So if you're training, if you just started, or maybe you're just doing the different martial arts, allow yourself to be on the bottom pile and suck at everything, because this is the way to progress. You have to be on that bottom to learn the basics, the foundation, and then you're gonna build, and then your skills, individual skills, gonna come out. The other thing that always frustrated me is that I wanted to be a super all-around fighter. I am not. I'm more skilled in grappling and close distance than I am a striker or a groundwork player. I like throws and always been really very critical of my kicks. And I cannot kick really nicely to the head, and I always wanted it. And I wasted a lot of energy and time trying to improve my kicks instead of listening to the coaches and people and finding my own strengths and focusing on those strengths. If I spend as much time as I spend on the bloody kicks, and training my throws and takedowns and the grappling game, I would be ahead of the curve in my club at that time, because everybody was focusing on legs because they've been kicking nicely or punches, and I just ignored my strengths. I was focusing on my weaknesses and not paying enough attention to my strengths. I know that we need to build up the weaknesses to the kind of average, at least level, and there's time for that. You need to pay attention to stuff that you are the weakest and improve them and get better so you've got some proficiency in it. But focus on your um, strengths. You're not good in sparring, maybe you're good in kata. You're not in kata, maybe you are a really good coach. Because you cannot fight really efficiently, it doesn't mean you cannot see the things happening and that you cannot coach the other people. Maybe you are a great coach, but you don't know that yet. That's kind of later in your career stage. You've got some grades, you start coaching now, and maybe you are a fantastic coach. You don't necessarily need to be a brilliant fighter. There's no rule that good fighters are good coaches and other way around, and we see that in all the sports that people who actually don't do the sport can coach better than people who actively participate. So, just don't be so hard on yourself and look on the positives and strong side and focus on those, because then you're going to have a more motivation and more enjoyable experience, and that experience going to be driving you to come back to the dojo, train with people, get better. And the more you train, the more better you get. The better you get, more you want to train. So it's like kind of perpetual movement that drives you forward. And I'm nearly 30 years in martial arts, and I'm enjoying it. And like I said, I'm in a BJJ now on the bottom of a pile. Everybody's tapping me out. Everybody's better than me, but I just enjoy being there. I enjoy learning something new, and as well, those people with a higher belt got the pressure on them, right? They need to be good. Being white belt is freedom. You can suck at it. Nobody give a damn. You're just there, you're training, you're building stuff. Everybody understand that you don't know anything yet, but that expectation's growing with you and your progression, right? It's much more harder to be a brown belt because everybody wants to be like you, win with you, and be better than you. So it is a lot of pressure to constantly deliver, right? You do mistakes, and then people saying, "Oh, look at that brown belt. He didn't do it properly. He got a little bit that wrong. He been tapped out by the lower belt." So people put those expectations of themselves, and people judge themselves on that, and it's always 3 times or 4 times worse in your head than there really is, and you don't have to fall for that. You can just enjoy the martial arts, accept that it's a hard training, accept there is no shortcuts, enjoy the progression, enjoy the journey. Look, give yourself at least a year to try the martial art. Do the year. If you're interested in martial arts, you're joining the club, give yourself a year or at least a half year to see how much you can improve, because the first few months are confusing as hell. You don't know what you're doing, you don't know what they're talking to you, you don't know how the system operates, what's the culture in the dojo, what's the um, specific atmosphere in the dojo, what the techniques they're using. So you're learning everything, so you're kind of overwhelmed everything, and it's hard. So give yourself time to settle down, enjoy the environment, make some friends, and then people are gonna start helping you to bring you up, and you're gonna get better and better and better. And the hard work builds bonds, and through the hard work, difficult training and being that tap out all the time, or being losing all the time in sparring, and that punishment of a hard workout builds bonds between people, and you become a part of the dojo where the support gonna be for you, people gonna be standing up for you, people gonna be helping you, you're gonna start having really good friends, and just it's gonna get easier. But you need to put the effort in. Unfortunately, nothing comes really easy in martial arts, and the harder the work you put in, the sweeter the wins are. So that's my thoughts about it. I hope you enjoyed it. That's my way of looking at it. So positive outcomes are first, and I try to discourage all the negative effects. Well done for listening to all of it. You are a superhero. Thank you very much for your support. And if you could leave us that review on a podcast platform, that would be amazing. I appreciate your time, appreciate your support, and I wish you all the best until the next one.